Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about one of our new teas for February, Osmanthus Oolong, and why it's amazing. Now before we begin, if you haven't been here, come visit us in Green, Texas. We're outside of New Braunfels, Texas, which is outside and halfway between San Antonio and Austin, Texas. We'd love to meet you. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already, and post a comment. Osmanthus Oolong, otherwise known as Gui Huao, is a relatively well-known oolong. So before we talk about it in particular and its liquor, let's talk about what is oolong. So remember, Camellia sinensis, otherwise known as the tea plant, boasts 6 families or 6 categories. Oolong is going to be right in the middle. And so whereas green and yellow teas are 0% oxidized and black tea is 100% oxidized, in other words, oxidized means broken down. Oolong is that middle category that has a lot of range, anywhere from 15% oxidized to close to 80%. And that oxidation is determined by the tea master who's making that particular cultivar of tea. They have to bruise the leaves. So oolongs are famous for a couple of things. One of them is they are bruised. So they'll get the leaves and they have to bruise it, and they typically wrap them up in the old style was they'd wrap them up in these cloths and turn them and then roll the whole thing. And so the tea master would have to bruise it enough, but not too much, because if they bruise it too much, then it'll be a higher percent oxidized oolong. And if they don't bruise it enough, it might be too low. So Osmanthus is a lightly oxidized oolong. So it's kind of similar to Iron Goddess of Mercy. It'd be similar over in Taiwan to Dongding or Alishan oolongs. Osmanthus oolong is a Chinese oolong, by the way. And so it's going to be a lighter taste. So what does that mean? A lightly oxidized oolong, I guess, would be considered floral, delicate, fruity. Now with Osmanthus is a scented tea. What is a scented tea? A scented tea is where they get tea leaves and then they infuse it naturally, or hopefully naturally, because a lot of tea places won't do it naturally. But in the old style is they'll put flower buds of a particular flower next to the freshly plucked leaves, and then those flowers will be infused into the tea leaves. And so in this case, similar to the probably most famous scented tea, which is jasmine green, Osmanthus Oolong is a scented. So they'll get the flowers of Osmanthus. Osmanthus is not too well known here in the West, but it's a flower that grows in Asia. And so they'll get the blooms of the Osmanthus flower and put it next to the leaves. The leaves are lipophilic. Tea leaves absorb flavor. This is what we talked about in one of the earliest episodes, the do's and don'ts of storing your tea. One of the don'ts is put them next to your spices or put them next to food, because they will absorb those flavors. So you don't want to do that. But in this case, it's a good thing. So they put the Osmanthus flower next to the tea leaves, and then so it absorbs it naturally. So in Osmanthus Oolong, what you're going to notice is, yes, it's floral, but it's Osmanthus is the floral that you'll be picking up. Now, the liquor is what you would expect from a lightly oxidized oolong, kind of a golden yellow. It's quite lovely. The taste is amazing, and probably one of the best things about oolong, and we've talked about this in several episodes, 3 or 4. Oolong, if you just look at aesthetics, and we here at Green Tea House are very keen on aesthetics, right? Use the senses. Look at the loose leaf tea in the glass teapot, but also look at the leaves themselves. Smell the leaves pre-infusion, post-infusion as well. So if you look at oolongs are just pretty. They're beautiful. They're characteristically wrapped in knots, for lack of a better word, by the tea master. And so they look like these beautiful knots. The lightly oxidized oolongs, like Osmanthus, have this great floral green color. Dongding and Alishan in Taiwan have the same kind of thing, just very beautiful color to it. And then when you infuse them, and when you pull out and look at the leaves, you'll be able to pull out and unravel the whole leaf of Camellia sinensis. So, in closing, Osmanthus, light, delicate flower, floral oolong tea. I brewed about 190 for about 4 minutes, and then reuse those leaves 3 times, maybe 4, and we would say within a 6-hour window. It's just amazing light floral oolong, and oolongs are just dynamic. They're that category where you don't really need to sweeten it, and they're just beautiful. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. What's your take on oolongs? Until next time, take care. God bless.